Welcome to the What's Your Truth podcast, the show that not only showcases the best of independent artists, but also explores what inspires them, what drives them, and what they consider their fundamental purpose as an artist to be. Today on the show, we have Marshall Red, singer and guitarist for Reverend Red, somber and moody, introspective and curiously hopeful, and with a voice that is the perfect blend of Eddie Vedder, Jim Morrison, and Johnny Cash, albeit with a tone and color all his own. Reverend Red is a Mojave Desert-based international touring artist whose brand of Southern Gothic and folk rock and constant evolution of sound has allowed the band to share the bill with artists of multiple genres, including the likes of Merle Haggard, Iggy and the Stooges, Reverend Horton Heat, Sean James, and Murder by Death, to name a few. Their most recent European release, Lakewood Dreamers, features stories and murder ballads fine-tuned by producer John Davis, who has worked with world-renowned acts including Nick Cave, The Killers, and Lana Del Rey. A true band of the people, Reverend Red has toured relentlessly across the U.S. and Europe, both solo and as a band, with his play any club, any city attitude. The result has been his playing national music festivals, music venues, shady dive bars, restaurants, wineries, breweries, and even a few pizza joints. All that aside, Marshall is one of the coolest cats I've ever met and an absolute gem of a human being. It's my pleasure to have him on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Marshall Red.
Hey, how are you?
I am fantastic. How are you, my friend?
Oh, can't complain. Can't complain.
That's right. That's right. And who would
Hey,
listen?
oh, yep,
Right on, man. Well, shall we roll into it?
do it.
Marvelous. So, my first question for you is, how did you decide that you wanted to become a musician?
That is something that I think has just always been there, to be honest with you. Since I was a kid, if you go back and look at my grandmother's extensive records of what do you want to do since you were in kindergarten, music was always on the top of the list. Um, I never expected to as an adult do anything with music. Kind of had given that up at one point of the idea, and then I had friends who said, "Hey, you play guitar? We need an opener for the set here at the bar." And one thing led to another, and now it's over a decade back on sitting in the road and doing shows and festivals and having fun.
Man, that's awesome. And isn't that funny how that happens when, it's like when you're intended to do something, those are the kind of things that just occur, aren't they?
It is, man. I guess sometimes if you ask, you shall not receive, but sometimes you just let it happen naturally. That works out.
Absolutely. And what was the first experience you remember having with music?
Ooh, shoot.
Dig deep, baby, dig deep.
First interaction with music in general. I got a keyboard for Christmas and learned how to play keyboard, kind of. It was more like had a book that had numbers, and you just put the numbers on certain keys, and then you just try to play around. So it gave the idea of listening to the melody, and that's
Oh,
really
wow.
where that started. And I think I had a plastic guitar at one point that had a little amplifier that I drove everybody nuts with. So, but that's I mean, we're talking. I mean, as a kid, you know what I mean? Like I said, probably first, second, third grade. No, probably first or second.
Wow.
Oh,
Well, the
yeah,
seed was planted when it was planted, right?
that's it, man. Always
Mm,
love music.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And who are the biggest influences on your work and why?
Ooh, well, I'd say on the work, I'm gonna give it straight out to the Denver sound, including the wonderful people of Slim Cessna's Auto Club have been a huge influence, and then Beautiful Friends, um, and going into listening to the Stooges albums and just Iggy Pop in general with my dad and the Doors. Like you mentioned that, and I was like, wow, okay.
I love
Uh,
hearing your voice too, man. Your voice is nuts.
thanks, brother. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. It took a long time to find it, and half the time on the albums, I can't listen to myself because I'm like, that was a bad day, man. But you know how that goes. Everybody says that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that stuff, getting into some industrial music and some weird, off the wall stuff, Nick Cave, Leonard Cohen, or Constant. I think names that are mentioned with people who do what I do and beyond. So, I kind of wraps it all in there quite a bit, and a little punk rock for damn sure. Old 97s shows up quite a bit in my stuff, and some Sonic Youth.
Awesome. And then what's the weirdest thing that's ever inspired you?
Ooh, um, I don't know, man. I would say ghost stories. Make fun of me if you will, but my own personal ghost stories and weird stuff. Maybe I have an overactive imagination, but that's probably the weirdest, I would imagine. I
That's right.
mean,
I
the
wouldn't make fun.
average. Yeah, I think that's probably the strangest stuff that's happened, man. I spend a lot of time enjoying checking out stuff that's a little bit odd or a little macabre, and um, you know, I ponder on those things. I like to read the newspaper and sometimes make songs based out of horrible stories, and so it's kind of fun that way for me.
Yeah, and it kind of almost takes something horrible and it puts a little beauty into it, a little bit of
Yeah,
creation.
absolutely, absolutely. It's
It's a little easier to deal with.
yeah, and it's kind of funny because I'm a pretty, I don't know if I'm a cheerful guy, but I'm a pretty easygoing dude and wouldn't harm anything if I ever had to. So, you know,
Well,
I
that's
don't know, it's some
definitely
big stories.
yeah, no, and that definitely is true. You are definitely a very cool, easygoing dude. I would fully agree
Oh,
with that.
thanks, man.
Yeah. So how has your art influenced other people?
Yeah, I don't know so much if my art has truly influenced other people. I've had my own great things that are wonderful for me that I've accomplished. Um, I don't have like a big name out there. I don't have like a ton of followers and listeners. It'd be nice if I did. So if you like this, follow and see a show or something. But
Links in the description.
right. But I would definitely say my determination um, to just do has been an influence to friends of mine and other musicians that I meet who ask, "Oh, how do you, as a father, go out on the road?" Because I've been touring since my son was small, and those are the type of things that I think more so than the art itself has influenced. I think just that ability to throw caution to the wind, get your butt out on the road, record some music, write some songs, perform them, and fake it till you make it type thing. And I've had a few, more than a few friends, finally go out on tours and do stuff, and maybe they would have got there anyways. I'm not saying I'm the main reason, but I definitely think that having someone who does that and who's willing to help, because I am always willing to help, because I don't think this would be a tight knit gatekeeper thing by any means. um you know they get out on the road, they start recording, they do the things, and they build their confidence, and they become better and better and better and better. And to name drop, if you have a chance, one of my good buddies who lives up in Ridgecrest, goes by the name of Desert Danish.
Hmm.
He just went on his first tour, texted me this morning that he got home safely.
Oh
And
wow.
I know that's been, before we met, that was something he wanted to do, and before we became close, it's something he wanted to do. But we've become real close, and he's been just kicking butt. Like, he's great on his social media, he's great at getting things done. He definitely picks up where I slack on things, and it's because I'm old and grumpy most of the time for that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't have social media. I know it's a thing you should do, but sue me. I'm happy.
Hey, and that's what matters, man. That's so
Yeah.
great though that someone that you've been mentoring essentially has actually gone out and they got out and did it. That's so awesome.
Oh yeah, man. And again, I see so many people, just friends of mine, and I encourage them all the time. Like, there's no better way for you to know if you want to do this than to do this. It's always that great thing of, oh yeah, I'm waiting for that right tour to come along. I'm waiting for the right opportunity of, going out with my favorite band and opening up for them. Like, good luck on that if you haven't done it yet. And I've seen it make bands, and I've seen it break bands. Um, and it's quite I wouldn't say entertaining, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like, oh man, it all comes to fruition.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, do you have any pre-show or pre-studio rituals?
Ooh. Um, Nothing that I really live by religiously, to be honest with you. It just depends on the day. I often run late to things. So usually if there is a ritual, it's gone because I need to set up a sound system and have the stage set up in 20 minutes. And I just don't have time for that. Uh, Little things that I did learn from some friends out in Nashville was eat some potato chips before a show. Helps coat the throat. And oddly
Interesting.
enough, it really does work. I'm sure there's
Wow.
more healthier ways to do this, or different ways.
But
It's
not
one
as
thing,
delicious.
right? I like to try to just, like do basic warm up vocal things. I can get a drink before a show. That'd be really nice to have, so I can be up on stage and have a drink or something like that. Um, but yeah, other than that, I don't know. Sometimes you just have to hit it and go, and I've just become used to that. Like move fast, and it's not always because I'm late. It's I joke about that, but um, sometimes it's just the way things are. You get to a place and you just need to move. So there's no time to think about it. One day I hope to have a nice bus or a hotel room that I can meditate in or something for like 2 hours before every show. And I don't get too overpsyched about anything anymore. I just figure you got to do it. So you know
So, when you are able to have everything you want on your rider, which color M&M will not be allowed in your trailer?
no M&Ms, man, no M&Ms. Anything that's like milk based, pretty much, I kind of skip before a show. So maybe that's my ritual: avoid milk and dairy usually.
There you go. That's a good ritual too. That stuff's horrible for a singer.
Yeah, dude. Like that gives you those like little frog burps. You know what I'm talking about? Your voice
So
starts to clog up a bit, and you're like,
uh-huh. Yeah, I'm quite familiar with this phenomenon. I cut milk out of my routine a long time ago for that very reason.
right, right.
So, what risks, if any, have you personally taken for the sake of your music?
Well, I mean, there's been the financial risks that have sometimes paid off and sometimes have not. Whether it's buying a used shuttle bus from Hooters that was filled with glitter, bright
Oh,
orange. Um, you put yourself in harm fairly often. I've been in a car accident once in New Mexico. Luckily, it wasn't bad. It was raining, and the guy just slammed into the back of us, and we are in Dwayne Mark's uh, Astro van, lovingly called the Astro Can.
hmm.
Uh, I don't know if you could do any more damage to it, so he just told the guy, "Don't worry about it," and everybody was safe and sound. And then you also put your sanity at risk. I think that's probably one of the toughest things. It's one thing to do this just for fun, and it's another thing when you got to pay some bills and you have the realistic parts of that. Um, and then there's always the artist part where you're going, am I writing good enough? Is this song all right? And you just torment yourself quite a bit. I mean, I don't know if everybody does that, but I do.
Yeah.
Uh, I do. And that's one thing that weighs on me. So honestly, that's probably the biggest risk I've taken, more than the financial, more than the personal, um, more than the chances I've taken. Um, if you listen to that last EP that we released right as COVID hit, we did the tour in Europe there, right as all that was happening. It's a big risk to do an album like that comparison to my previous stuff. I'm pretty sure I lost some fans over that, and that's okay because it was speaking more to my heart at that time of what I wanted to do. And you know what? If my next one's completely different, so be it. I'm not really worried. Uh, I'll keep going, and then I hope I can just be a better songwriter every time.
Right on, man. Yeah, and you have your integrity intact, and you're saying what you want to say. It's your communication. I think that's really great that you have that integrity. I think a lot of artists don't. Like they think they can't have that, and it's really good that you maintain that.
There's a beauty to being a starving musician, man. There's a couple bonuses that we get, you know. Some of the
I
other big
suppose.
guys don't get that.
Fair point. I suppose there are. But yeah, and the other thing you said too about just like, the songwriting and worrying about are you good enough? It's like I think that's I mean, first of all, your songwriting is incredible, but
Oh, thanks.
I do think that's a common thread with like that's kind of how you know you're really an artist because you actually care, and you care about being the best you can be, and not in a competitive way or anything, but really just wanting to be the best artist you can be and
Yeah,
create the biggest effect you can create. And so I think that's really incredible. It's a great
yeah,
message.
yeah, man. I mean, shoot, I think of one of the first songs I wrote for Reverend Red. Um, I don't know if it was Jacob's Farm or Come for You, or it was one of those. But I mean, I think I'm using 2, 3 chords in that whole damn thing. It's not because I didn't know anymore. I just didn't know what the hell to do, and I was playing banjo, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm just learning the instrument, and still, I get people wanting to hear those 2 songs, though. You know what I mean? They really like those ones, and I think if anybody's just getting out there and trying to create what they can and being the best they can be at that time for what they have, and if they feel that need to create, yeah, it may not be the best thing they'll ever do, but at the moment that they do it, it's probably the best they're given. And that's pretty cool.
Definitely. Well, the other thing too is simplicity is sometimes the more powerful route anyway. I mean, what Willie Nelson said, 3 chords and the truth, man. That's all you need
Right. Right.
from the mouth of the master.
Seriously, man.
Yeah. So
Seriously.
what's the craziest risk you've ever seen another artist take for their craft?
Ooh. Um, Craziest risk. Ooh, I know a lot of guys, so I know a lot of crazy ones too. I've seen, I don't know if it was just for the craft, but I know it's a big risk when you have a name and then you decide to change it. When you're not a big name, but you're still out there and people know who you are. I
Hmm.
have some friends who've gone through that, are working through that currently. Um, Name drop again, Augie Birch was part of Onward, etc. They were doing really well, doing things like the Flogging Molly cruise. And, I
Hmm.
think Roscoe played at Coachella one time.
Oh wow.
That's the main guy from that band. Um, he's going through the name change. I think that was a huge risk for him. And he's still going through it. But he's working on new music and it's beautiful. It's great. Some of the other risks I've seen are just dramatically changing the sound from one album to the next. And then, again, there's the physical part. I've lost a lot of friends doing this, too many. Um, so I don't know. If I can't pinpoint just one, man. It's a lot of stuff that goes through my head, and there's just risk in what we're doing. Um, but you don't know till you take them. Uh, you know, it's quite bizarre to do that stuff. And some guys they've come off really wonderful from taking risks of slightly changing the things they need to do to become either A, better songwriters, B, more marketable, things like that. I've got another friend who's doing very, very well for himself, selling out, pretty good size venues and theaters in LA. And you know, uh he kind of is very well known for his murder folk stuff, and that was all fun. It was fun to sing along to, still is fun to sing along to. He still plays those songs. um but then he started writing songs that were more introspective and a little bit more of a view into who he is, and he has just become, I think, like a master wordsmith. And he's added a band recently, to his lineup instead of just touring by himself. And that has been just an incredible journey. It makes me happy because when I see him, he seems so happy, and I can't. That's a risk that was well worth taking for him, but dangerous at the same time.
Yeah, fully. But like you said, I mean, he ended up happy in the end, and that's really kind of what matters, I think. You
Yeah,
know,
and success, and in that idea of what success is, and the idea of
right.
music. I mean, it's brought him more success. So
That's-
can't beat that.
Exactly. So, what's one thing about you that would shock everyone to know?
Um, a lot of people know I was in the military, did psychological operations. It's quite an interesting thing. When I left, I was 17 years old. Um, what not everybody knows is I'm like pretty seriously disabled from it.
Oh,
You fall out of an airplane type stuff and
oh, jeez.
land really, really, really hard, and you smash your vertebrae. It's an interesting thing, but I'm pretty strong minded of you know doing my stretches and keeping strong as best as I can, and working through migraines on stage and pain where I could barely walk, but I still managed to do a show. It works. Keep it strong.
Wow. Damn, you fell out of a plane? Holy crap. That just wow, you're alive. Good for you.
It was fun.
Well, I bet it was fun until you hit the ground.
Yeah, that was it was a little painful, but I walked away from it, which was pretty cool.
That's wild.
But just didn't realize all the pain was from that was smashed vertebrae. So
Wow.
and then you know you blow out your knees and your hips are gone and it's a slew of things that just happen. So
Wow, dude.
yeah,
But I love how you're just so like it happened, like you're not letting it get you down in life or anything. That's so
what are you
great.
gonna do, man? What are you gonna do? It does help provide me, these days a different opportunity. I was still doing music before they had, the military finally rated me at a proper percentage and all that stuff. But you know, uh, it's definitely helped me maintain what I need to maintain while still giving me again the artistic freedom. So
Right on. Blessings in disguise, right?
that's it, man. That's it.
Awesome. So what's the one thing or the one tool you absolutely cannot live without as an artist and why?
Ooh, you know what? My iPad, and I know many people might make fun of that, but that keeps all of my sets in order. Um, Due to the previous thing we just talked about, my brain doesn't function all that great anymore. So we joke in my band that that's my brain, and I have everything there just in case I can't recall something. Nowadays, I have a little foot switch. I can click it while it's on the floor or wherever, and oh yeah, okay, I need to say that word, and usually muscle memory will kick back in and go with it. Or sometimes I'll just keep playing music. Um, so I think that's probably my biggest tool that I have to have nowadays. Amp wise, I have my preferences, obviously, like I think most people do. Um, but make sure I just have a tuner to tune the guitar, and it doesn't even have to be good sound, just a sound, and I can make it work.
Right on, man.
Yeah, brother.
So what has been the most difficult piece of music for you to create and why?
Difficult piece of music.
Yeah, what's the most difficult thing you've created? The thing that was the hardest for you to create for
Oh,
whatever reason on whatever level.
you know, um, probably stuff you haven't heard yet. Um, so, like I mentioned, my friend Dwayne Mark, who we had quite a few adventures together. Um, I lost him a while back in 2021, and that's been the hardest thing for me to figure out, to be honest with you. Um, Him and I could always bounce ideas off of each other. He was a real good, um, uh, as a brother, you know what I mean? And so I wrote him a song, and I think that's been the hardest thing I've had to do is write him a song. I've written other songs for our loved ones that have passed, but they've been old or kind of expected. Uh, but this was just out of the blue. I'd just seen him out in Texas. I went and visited him, shot a music video for him, and did a bunch of cool stuff. We just had a blast. We were looking forward to the future. We were going to tour together again, and get things moving. So that has been the hardest piece of music for me to create. Just the past couple months, I can finally get through the singing the song live without crying, which is a blessing there. But yeah, I think that's been the hardest part of anything I've created musically, the most difficult piece I've created, um, just because it was so intensely uh, difficult to say the words I had to say.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I totally get that, man. I'm so
yeah.
sorry to hear that too, by the way.
I mean, it's part of life. And then the beautiful thing is his family's holding up pretty well. I think better than most can expect. And he's left a beautiful legacy of music, which is still available. Check him out. Purchase all that stuff. The money goes to his wife and his kids and his
Right on.
family in general. And yeah, man, it was pretty rough. Still is.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, to lighten the mood a little bit, a fun
Yeah. Yeah.
question
Yeah.
here. If you were going to write a book about your career up to this point, what would you title it?
Don't do it. Not even joking, man. I mean, again, it's a anytime anybody asks me about it, like in general these days, I always say, well, first of all, don't do it. But if you're gonna, like here's some tips that help out and things you got to do. Um, but yeah, it would definitely have to say don't do it. I mean, we all know how this works. It's a pretty wild ride. Most people are not cut out for it. Some of us are just lucky to love it, despite the craziness.
Yeah.
So
No, that's a really great way of putting that too. I love
yeah.
that. So, what are your plans for world domination?
Ooh.
I know you got them.
You know, I think taking it one goal at a time, man. This year is a different goal for me. I'm gonna write an album or two.
Good.
Got enough songs. I might do my own little side project and stuff that just really does not fit in for anything that I was doing with that. Um, Songs I probably won't perform live, but just something for me personally. Um, Still some stuff that is definitely going to be in the left field for Reverend Red, even. Uh, but yeah, I plan on doing that this year. I plan on trying to hit some states that I haven't hit. I think I've got like 7 or 8 states I want to say that I haven't played. So I'd like to do that. And then once that's done, um, next step is go back to Europe.
Right.
That
Yeah.
has been huge for me.
Yeah. Because you haven't been back since before COVID, right?
Yeah, so right as COVID hit, and that last album, I recorded in Belgium with my friend Mirko of Everyone Is Guilty, and he produced the hell out of that album and recorded everything just in his flat there in Liège, and I owe the greatest thanks to him for making that sound as good as it did, and we share a lot of musical inspiration even through those whole big list of multiple people. We share those, and it's kind of unique to find someone who has like all those same interests and same desires in music. And he made that sound the way it did, and like you mentioned earlier, John polished that up at the end there for the mastering and everything, and it was pretty great. So yeah, I'd like to go back out and see him and maybe do some shows with him. That'd be great. That's
Oh,
that's the next two steps, and I'll figure it out from there, man.
yeah. Right on.
Figure it out from there.
Awesome. So I have one more question for you, and
Yeah,
just
brother.
to revisit the introduction to the show. So the show again not only showcases the best of independent artists, it also
Yeah.
explores what inspires them, what drives them, and what they consider their fundamental purpose as an artist to be. So, Marshall, what's your truth?
My truth is just to keep living, and I need to travel to do that. I need to entertain of some sort. I feel that inside me. If I don't do it, I start losing my damn mind. And my wife will tell me to leave the house and to get shows going. That is my truth. I think I've done this now that I don't know what else to do. and I don't know if there's anything else to do. So that is my
Awesome.
truth. It's in the bones.
Oh yeah, dude. And by the way, it sounds like your wife is pretty incredible.
She is pretty freaking awesome, dude.
Any wife that tells her husband, dude, go out and play shows, that's pretty epic.
Oh yeah. I mean, she puts up with me going, like I said, to Europe and traveling the States with my buddy, and we take photos with we story. She doesn't get mad when we take a photo after we were the music entertainment for a burlesque show, and everybody's got the pasties on, and she goes, "Well, that looks like it was fun." Yeah, it was fun, babe. She's like, "Good. No, we tried to do anything, right?" No, everybody's cool. Everybody knows that you're my wife, and she says, "Okay, thought so."
Awesome. It's like, damn right they do.
That's right. They do.
That's so awesome.
She's too good to not mention. So
Yeah, no, 100%. That's really beautiful too that you guys have what you have together, and
oh,
that it feels what you're doing. That's so great.
we both try to support each other. I think if anything, that's she helps keep it going, because the days where I do doubt myself and I go, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm too tired or too old or my body hurts. She says, what else are you gonna do? I don't know. Yeah, I'll keep doing it. You're right, babe. Okay. Talk sense into me, that's for sure.
That's right. That's so awesome. And what a great way to end the interview. That's so freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
Before we do end off here, I did want to give you 60 seconds to just plug anything you might want to plug. 60 seconds of everything Reverend Red. Fire away, man. Floor is yours.
Definitely check us out on your social media stuff and your Spotify and Apple Music. I know people like to hate those, but guess what? It gives you my music and you can give me a chance. If you like what you hear, buy it on Bandcamp. I have some shows coming up this week. In fact, I've got a show on Thursday with King String from Bridge City Sinners, and Joey Briggs, and from the Briggs, Bradley Riot, Dumpster Fire Orchestra, and then I'm playing again in Ridgecrest with half of those guys and another touring band. And then in February, I'm finally going to bring a full band back here in Palmdale, California, playing with the Builders and the Butchers, which is going to be an epic show. So please do not miss that. Keep your eye out on some other future dates here. Like I said, I'll be out on the road eventually this year, but I'm going to be focusing a lot more in Southern California. So look it up.
Right on, man. Amazing. Marshall, again, thank you so much for being here. And for everyone watching, this has been the What's Your Truth podcast. We'll see you on the next episode. Later.
Yeah, you follow your own rules and you preach them on to me. But you don't think before you act, and you ain't got no business with me. You don't know. But tell me what's your truth? Oh, what's your truth?